Hey, forgot my light. Yeah, gonna paint this. Is the Mark Five? What's it called? I forget what it's called. It's the Reach version of the Halo CE helmet. That's what it is. And it's gonna be Miami Mint because that is the colour she chose. But yeah, we're gonna start off with a tiny wee brush, and I'm gonna get all the little grills done because we need to leave all in there black. I've just realised I've set something off and it's only just popped up. What the devil is that? I have no idea. Never mind. Right, okay. If you're wondering what that noise is, that is my kitten doing kitten things. So yeah. Hi, Skeptic. Is it Skeptic or is it Septic? I'm very heavily dyslexic, so that is it a silent C? I'm going with Skeptic. Nice to see you again. How do I open this? Have I a knife? Must I go get a knife? I think I have to go get a knife. Unless... Oh no, this might work. Yay! Thank you very much, trusty cancers. Jesus Christ. That's bright. Crocky Moses. Well, yeah, I'm gonna just start by fairly thickly. It's going to take more than one coat for absolute definite. But yeah, I'm going to do my best to just try and go around, not touch the insides. Let's see how that works out for us. Not too bad so far. But yeah, I'm just going to try and get like the edges of everything where it meets the black with this tiny wee brush, and then we're going to full on go for it and just daub it in Miami Mint. can pretty much guarantee that it is not going to be the best paint job because it's me painting. And I'm going to have to keep referring back to photos of how this is coloured because I can't remember. Like, for example, I can't remember if like this is all coloured but then the inside is black. Can't remember. So for now, I'm going to do the bits I know. I'd love to be able to spray paint it, but I just don't have the facilities. So it's hand painting all the way. Ooh, I'm spoilt for choice. What do I do? There we go. Ish. It's getting there. Okay. Oh, you're back? I didn't know you'd gone. I was saying before, I have no access to spray painting materials or space to do it without choking me and my kitten to death. So it's all hand painting. I'm also not entirely sure where needs painting and where needs leaving black, except for the bits that I've taped off, because obviously you know. But like down here, I feel like I want to leave the inside of this vent bit black because I just think it would look really cool. So I'm gonna. We'll paint all the rest around it. Making Mark 5, hell yeah, Mark 5 is my favourite for sure. See, for me, I think black would be better. This is the colour they've chose. This is a commission that I made a little while ago. The back end of last year. Finished it at the end of December, like early January really. Like the whole suit. And the beauty of making Reach suits for people is that it's always the suit that they made in game, you know. I just love that. I love that you can make someone their suit that they actually played with, and they get to walk around a con in the actual armor that they spent ages grinding to build, you know. And this is the color that she had, so that is the color that I am doing. It's actually a little bit darker than this in reality, but it's going to dry darker than it looks, and then we're going to weather it with like shoe polish and date from the yard. If anyone can tell me what that is a reference to, you get 10 points. You use Bondo, right? First time I'm actually using Bondo after years of people. Right. I'm sure it makes it smooth. I don't know what Bondo is. This has been primed with this. So it's like it dries in like a rubbery thing, and then you can use anything after that. And I'm just using like regular household emulsion, and then I'll usually spray it with a clear lacquer to finish it. But what is Bondo? I know that name. I've seen it in the movies. Right. Not the neatest, but okay. Right. Do you know what? From here, I think I could just use like a big. I think I will just use a big brush. I did have water to put these in, but I don't now. It's a putty type stuff. Everyone on the internet has told me to get it for years. It fills in your print lines extremely well and fills in gaps like the middle part of your helmet. Yeah, no idea. I just paint the gaps, and the paint seems to create a nice thick bridge between the gaps, usually. BRB. And now I'm back. Okay. Let's daub, everybody. Let's just daub. And I instantly hate this brush. It's too stiff. I don't know why I'm using this. I bought new brushes for this precise thing, and then I'm using this piece of shit. What am I doing? Oh, this is much nicer. Oops. There we go. Lovely. Nice and soft. And don't panic, everyone. We will be doing multiple coats. And I tend to do the coats in different directions as well. Crikey. There we go, that's better. And I just put my thumb right in it. I put my thumb in the paint. Which was very, very clever. What are we talking about? A lot of the time I use a sponge. Yeah, I would as well, usually. I think as long as you're keeping track of what you're doing and you're like doing multiple coats in different directions, it tends not to matter, thankfully. You get more or less the same results. And the other thing, it's like, it's a Reach suit, isn't it? And Reach is like, everything is mucky and dirty on Reach. So it almost suits being like hand painted like this. I'm gonna throw this in a swamp. That's essentially it if you want to make an accurate Reach costume. Chuck it in the mud. Nearly there. Bollocks. Right, I've ruined it, so it's all getting painted. Oh well. Best laid plans and all that. Right. Okay. Just gonna give that a couple of minutes. Let the paint settle a wee bit. Which turtle was I making? I was gonna make a Donny. I was gonna make a Donatello. I 3D printed a staff and everything. Bought the I've got vinyl for the belts, and I even got some purple material for the bandana. Right there. Yeah, I wanted to do a Donny. So yeah. I'll try and finish it. Oh, good. Stream Boo, thanks for joining us. Obviously, I hope it goes without saying, but please do not click on Stream Boo bollocks, because it is bollocks. Excuse me while I ban this idiot bot. Oh, would you look at that? The account was made 4 days ago. Goodbye. Ugh. But yeah, I probably will finish it. I've just gotta. I just didn't want it to be like all foam joints, you know. I wanted it to have like muscles and stuff. So I started trying to make the muscles out of foam clay, and it just solidified. And now it's really rock hard and heavy. And all I did was like 1.5 shoulders, and it's like it won't move. It's nuts. Okay. I'm just going to keep daubing paint on until it sticks. Oh my god. Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to wait till it properly dries to do it properly. Because it doesn't want to play. And the brush is just reabsorbing it. I can feel it getting heavier. Right. So, what we're going to do is I have some other parts of her costume that need priming. So, we're going to prime. I finished the layer of the body of my R2. Now working on the second. Wait, what? I've missed some. Hell yeah, looks good, man. I get that screwing something up can discourage, but it happens. You got this. I finished the first layer, blah, blah, blah. It should be done by tomorrow and work on the big parts and complete the body in the next week or so. Good. Go for it. Good. I've got to stop it. It's making it worse. There's like black. The Hexflex primer is like mixing into it, which isn't always a bad thing because it like is flexible paint, and when it mixes with the emulsion, it makes the emulsion flexible as well, so that's cool. But it shouldn't be, because that was done in December. It should be dry by now. Give me a moment, I won't be long. I am back. I'm also aware I did not mute. It's going to be my largest project ever. Not only am I making a 3D printed R2D2, I'm also going to have to figure out which motors to get for moving the head and wheels and sounds and stuff. Yeah, that's where I opt out, is as soon as it comes to like mechanical stuff. And doing the electrics and things. Because I just can't. A lot of the time I'm not supposed to as well, because most of what I do is commission work. If I got commissioned to do, like a Halo suit or something for someone, then I can do whatever. I'll go for it, and it'll be cool and everything. But then I can get sued if they electrocute themselves, because I'm not a qualified electrician, and I've just sold them some electronics, and they're now dead. Therefore, I'm, liable, or whatever it is. Hexy flexy, hexy flexy, hexy flickety flex. La-di-di-dee, la-di-di-da. Never thought about it like that. I have considered stupid things like if they cut themselves in the plastic. Yeah. I mean, that's one of those things you could argue is like a risk you take when you're buying something made out of plastic from an independent person that's making these things via commission. And also, if you give them a warning, they have no leg to stand on, legally speaking. But if you're not an electrician and then you sell someone some electronics and they shock themselves on it, then yeah, you can be, especially in this country, you can be, there's sort of strict laws on what you can and can't do commercially when it comes to stuff like that. You have to be like a licensed or qualified electrician. And then it gets even murkier when you're sending things abroad, which is what most of my business is sending stuff to people abroad. So, what's happening? What's happening, mate? What's happening? Okay. Go away. No. Yes. Good, right. cut myself pretty bad in my novice days before I figured out tree supports. Like to the point where I was bleeding in my sink. Plastic does not fuck around. Nope. And I cut myself on tree supports all the time. I have made some Halo Infinite boots for my own Halo Infinite thing. And even with my pliers and choppers and all the shit that I have, I'm still struggling to get them out of this bitch. That's nuts. I've never known one like it. I've not had that kind of trouble before with any kind of supports, to be honest. But that takes the cake. Yeah, where's the fucking cake? Well, it's been taken, mate. Well, that takes the cake, doesn't it? What else we got? People bitching moan that their prints aren't done yet when I'm here literally putting my blood, sweat and tears into it. Yeah. Never really had issues with tree supports. They come off pretty well. Yeah, they usually do. That's what I'm saying. I've never had an issue with them. Until that one. Until that particular, what do you call it? Print. And it was just like, shit. Christ. Well, that whole section just ruined this brush. It's okay. It cost so little, this brush, that the shop nearly paid me to take it out of there. So I don't care. I'm just going to bin it. What happened with what? With the brush? It's it looks like that now. Because of trying to go in between these bits. Those thin parts there that you can see. Somehow ruined the brush. It's like I say, it's only cheap. Oh, that's dry. How's that looking? Nowhere near. Hello. Are you using a foam or 3D print armor set? This is foam that I've made for someone. I'm just painting it. Down there on the floor, however, that's a 3D printed helmet that is also being painted today. Just so you know. YouTube people, I'm sorry for the delay. If you send me something, I'll see it in real time, but it'll your reply might be a little while after you're expecting, because there is a delay for you. What you're saying? Found from $800 brushes. You want those? Yeah, you're gonna nip down from Canada to drop them off for me. No, dude. No, thank you though. That's a really nice offer. But I feel better about using cheap stuff. You know, you found some, right? Yeah. I feel better about using cheap stuff because then if something like that does happen, I would have been absolutely devastated if it was an $800 brush, and I did that to it. I'd be gutted. Oh right, I thought you meant like you found them at home and you were gonna give me them. Like, no, thank you. Bougie Brushes is an amazing album name. For like an indie pop band. Like an indie rock band, you know. One of those ones that are like too cool for school and they play banjos and shit. Wear waistcoats. Pretend they're Irish, but they're actually from really well-to-do British aristocracy. You know who you are. Okay. I think I'm just going to paint like the insides of this a little bit. Just so it brings less attention to the eye. Might even leave it black. Wah, 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 wah. No, I'm not that kind. Good. I'm not that accepting. Someone's breaking in. Lol. You have to give me some context there, dude. I heard the siren. Oh, yeah, that was someone's car out there in the wilderness of this urban decay. So, yeah, don't worry. Nothing to do with me, Gav. I'll tie my shoelace. Didn't see nothing. I ain't seen nothing, mate. Yeah. Okie dokie. One down. We have a shin. A shin to do. I'll probably get the car broken too, no biggie. Nah, it'll be fine. Why brush instead of doing spray base? Would there be noticeable difference between the two? Yes, there definitely would be. But I live in a very small flat on the 3rd floor. I don't have the kind of ventilation that it would require to safely not die and not kill my kitten with with the fumes. So yeah, it would probably be a lot smoother. It's fine for this. What I'm using here is Hexflex Primer, which is really good with a brush, or you can water it down or put it in a spray gun, which I do own, but I can't use it in here. So yeah, this is just literally a primer that almost turns into like a rubbery substance once it's dry, and it's really good. I don't know if they ship across the pond, but if you're in the UK, they're called Polyprops. And they do this craft foam as well, which is amazing stuff. I find it so much better to work with than like EVA, and I'm not even sure if I don't think it is EVA, because they market it as craft foam specifically. It's got a similar feel to it, but it reacts slightly differently to heat. Like, it doesn't seal like EVA does when you put like a heat gun on it. So, you know, when people do like this, do scoring with like lines and stuff, and then put a heat gun on it, and an EVA spreads apart, doesn't it? This doesn't tend to do it as much, which led me to believe that it's a different material, or at least just a different consistency. So yeah, that's why. I see, fair point, yeah. Yeah, it's something I would rather do, because I mean it makes things so much quicker, especially when you're just doing this, you know. I could be already done. Like literally done with it already, you know. But no, it must be done by hand. That might change if I can get myself out of here, but there are no plans in the foreseeable future because I am not a powerful influencer, nor am I a successful businessman. So so I'm stuck here for the time being, at least. But things are going to change for the better soon. I'm positive of it. I mean, you say that. But yeah, it's difficult, mate. Like for everyone right now. Thanks, Trump. It is not my passion to do this. What I'd really like to do is just make kits for people, and people can get off the lazy asses and paint it themselves, you know? That's what I want. Paint it yourself. Because I'm no good at painting, really. I have to... My stuff looks good on camera, but it really doesn't in real life. Like, it photographs really well, so I'm proud of that. I'm happy with that fact, because at the end of the day, when you're doing cosplay, what else is it for except, like, the photos, you know? Take photos with people, enjoy yourself, have fun, you know. So that's what it's for. I always try and just make it look like it's going to photograph really well, and most of the time I pull that part off, thankfully. What's that you saying, Skeptic? So many use spray paint, but first off, I don't have much space to do it outside, and it costs a lot more than to buy cans. Yeah. No, I'd agree with that as well, yeah. I mean, over here, you're going to end up spending the same amount of money, so you're going to be out of pocket by the same amount, but you are going to have less for it, you know? And sometimes, especially for me, it's about the amount of money that you're spending on the day. So like if I get this paint for like £16, then can I afford to be without that £16 for however long, you know? So yeah. I can buy acrylic paint for a couple of bucks at Walmart. Yeah. Oh, I've got that too. I just you need a surprising amount for a full Halo suit. Right, what have we got? Right, that there. Right, okay. Maybe there is a market where you could build kits with everything in them for a person to do. It might be a little niche market. You can't build an empire in a day. People do sell kits, like 3D printed kits. I don't know how popular they are though, because I found in my experience, when I advertise, I'm Harley Halo cosplay on everything, by the way. The Facebook page is fairly popular. I've got about 1,400 and some odd people following it. Anyone that asks me for something like building for them, like a commission, I always offer non-painted, and I give significant discounts for people to paint it themselves, because it saves me about 2 weeks. Because first you have to do this with every part of the whole costume, and then of course you've got to wait for it to dry. And then, leave it out through the night, hope that your kitten doesn't eat it. Then come back to it. Some of it might need touching up and recovering, but I've got pretty good at that, actually. I very rarely need to do that now. So then you get into the actual paint job. So you got to tape stuff off, and that could mean that there's nearly all the body parts are going to have something that needs taping off and not catching with, other colours and what have you. So if you're doing the whole suit, taping up the whole suit and making sure everything's right, that's another day. And then especially if you paint it by hand, everything needs at least 3 coats, I would say. So you end up spending a whole week putting 2 coats on or something, and then you've got to let it dry, and I just hate it. I. No, I don't mind. In all seriousness, I don't mind. It's, you know, it's just the most annoying part of this for me, because it's the thing that I feel the least confident about. That's all. So I always have a little bit of a moan about it. Here we go. Okay, have I got everything? Nope. Okay, there we are. That's another one. And we have another arm. And it's not fully solidified or dried yet, but I'm going to go back to the helmet after this. See what we can't, see what we can damage. Okay. When I was a kid, one of my life goals was getting Stormtrooper or Spartan armor, and I never thought in a million years I'd figure out how to make it myself. But this was like 2010 or so, when 3D printing at home was next to nothing. I guess people used foam or something back then. No, what they used back then was paper and resin. They used the Pepakura thing, because in 2010 I made an ODST helmet with Pepakura out of paper, and then I could have continued and you coat it in resin and it hardens like really hard, and then you've got like essentially a solid helmet, and then you can prime it and paint it and all of that stuff. Like, I'll give you an example, because that's the program I use is Pepakura. And 2 seconds, I'll be right with you and I'll be able to share the screen. I just need to find an old file, basically. Let's see. Good old Halo Marine armor. Halo 3 permutation. No, I'll tell you what, we'll go for something classic like Halo Wars. Halo Wars. Let's do a chest. Holy shit. That is the perfect example. There you go. Now, whoops. What you can see there is it's very badly unfolded. Someone has literally just dumped this 3D model into it and it's auto unfolded, so you've got all these tiny stupid bits. And it would also give you these things, which were structural things that were inside to hold it all together, whilst you would be possibly, solidifying it somehow. And so, yeah, you'd get all these bits, and it even has the little flaps that you glue. Like those bits that I can't highlight, but those bits on the outside there, those are in fact little tabs that you would glue to the next piece. And what people discovered is that there is a section on here that you can just take those flaps off and then put those designs onto foam and make it out of foam instead. And people didn't figure that out until like the teens, like 20. I think I first started seeing people making stuff out of foam in like 2014, 2015. And then it became like the gold standard for the longest time. People were making everything out of foam, EVA foam mats. And then in about 2018 or so, 2017, people started, 3D printers became a tiny bit more accessible. And then that took off. And especially now when you've got like the ones that are a lot more automated, like self-leveling and all. Oops, shit, sorry everybody. Self-leveling and self-maintenance and all that stuff came in, and that's when it's blown up, and that's when it's gone completely 3D printed stuff now. And there's a community of people that make the STLs as well, isn't there? So we're all very lucky right now. That's amazing news that I just got privately. So yeah, it's been a process. And yeah, it was around about the time that Reach came out that I discovered that program, that Pepakura program. And I did try to, and I only ever made an ODST helmet, and then I didn't touch it again for like 8 years. And we are in a good time for cosplay. I never thought I'd be able to make my own R2D2 without having to buy or make my own aluminium frames and shit. Yeah, exactly. I always wanted a Ghostbusters Proton pack, like the movie ones, because I had a real Ghostbusters one, like the cartoon one, when I was a kid, and I absolutely loved that thing, man. I used to run around with it. It was my favourite thing. And I also wanted to be Batman, and I wanted to be a Ninja Turtle. And I have been able to fulfill the Batman dream. So now I need to be a Ninja Turtle, a Ghostbuster, and ideally RoboCop as well. Yeah, there's a real good one on Maker World. The problem I've found with, like, all cosplay communities have their little thing that they do. Like, the Halo cosplay community is really open and everybody shares everything and it's really nice. Well, the Ghostbusters one is similar. They'll share everything. But they have this knack for, like, they insist on absolute authenticity. And like stuff comes out, like they have everything catered for them because it's such a big franchise. You could buy a Spirit Halloween Ghostbuster Proton pack, and it is absolutely bang on. The molds are perfect. It looks amazing. It comes with lights and sound and wiring and all that shit, right? And people are like, yeah, the twisted computer wires don't resemble the first or second movie, and blah blah blah. And they'll go about making kits to change that, and it's like fucking hell, like if someone's already like dropped like what $100 and something for one of those Spirit Halloween ones that are really good as they are. and they're essentially telling you immediately, right, now you've dropped about half a month's rent on it. Here's all the rest of the stuff you need to spend a shitload of money on. It is like Ghostbusters cosplay is one of the most expensive, nerdist, hobbyist, like cosplay communities I've ever come across. I am not saying that's a bad thing, by the way. I want to make that very clear. It is just difficult to be a Ghostbuster, okay? Back off, man. I'm a scientist. Don't get me fucking started on things like the 501st. Organisations like that do good, but they're so fucking picky. It's insane. You're going to get that with Star Wars as well, yeah. Everybody argues about everything. What's canon, what's not canon. And, you know, thanks Disney. That's largely the problem, is that like Disney arbitrarily decides what's occurring and what's not. And it sends everybody into like a law debate. So I don't blame the community on that one. I fully see that as a corporate thing. The corporate knobs that just keep on turning. You're fighting amongst yourselves so you don't notice how much they're dragging your franchise through the mud. Same with the Halo franchise right now, yeah. That's right. I said it. Come at me, bro. Come at me, 343. Ahem, Halo Studios. Well, you sent me pandas? Jesus Christ. I was so productive this week, no. Was real. The cat's face, though. I love all of those. Yeah, it's weird because I'm happy to see R9 in Mando Season 3. But it was for the expanded universe. It was from the expanded, that they decanonized. Yeah. I hear when they do that. It's like when 343 essentially decanonized the original Halo trilogy. They were like, oh, they were aliens, by the way, so all those years and money you spent on the previous games were wasted. Bye. And they're just like, all those comics, the Star Wars comics and novels and things like that, and maybe even board games and video games that you really loved that were semi-canon or fully canon at one time. They're not anymore. You just wasted your life. Bye. So, yeah. Also, it's weird them bringing a character in from decanonized lore, because it's like an Easter egg for those that read it, but then it's like, wait, what does that actually mean? Like, what does that mean for the front? Does that mean that it's recanoned? Are they giving that section of the lore a new, like, what's the word? Origin, they're going to start again. What's happening, bruv? Halo and Star Wars were in very similar situations in 2017. The Last Jedi and Halo 5 both pissed off the fans of the sequel trilogy as a middle part and destroys the whole thing. And some people love Force Awakens and Halo 4 despite the issues with both of them. Yeah. Hang on a sec. Despite the issues with both of them, change their minds when later games come out, and 4 and Force mean fucking nothing to the rest of the stories. Yep. Because, like you say, they were in such a similar position that they did exactly the same thing. Like, they brought something out that was divisive, and then instead of, like, just getting on with it and finishing the story at least that they set out to tell, they pivoted and fucked it off and did something else instead, whilst continuing the same like story and set of characters that they'd brought in, you know? That's what every Halo game's done since Halo 4. Like, not one of them has followed on from the last. And yeah, they did the same with the Force trilogy, that began with Awakens. You know, it was so stupid. I watched them all. You know, despite not being a big Star Wars fan, I have seen all the movies. And by the end of like this sequel trilogy, as it's so called, I was just confused as fuck. Also, here's the thing, right? Am I missing something? Luke Skywalker, right? In one of the films, if not the same film, where he dies at the end, spoiler alert, not much of a spoiler, but like, did a thing where he like force projected himself into a situation, and then he wasn't really there, and so he was fine. But then right at the very end, where it was supposed to expect that he just turns up on that planet that he's nowhere near. He just, oh, there he is. And it's not a force projection when it probably canonically should have been. Am I going mad? Because I thought that's what he'd done to start with. I was like, oh yeah, what an amazing distraction that he's caused, so the rest of them can, you know, get themselves sorted to win or whatever. And then it turns out, oh no, he actually did turn up and he's dead. It's like, how did he get there? And like, you know, I hate things like that raise more questions than they answer, and they just like expect you to suspend your disbelief with no credible reasoning for it. That's right, motherfuckers. That's right, motherfuckers. And there was shit like that all over all the Halo games. A load of new movies are like that now as well. They just sort of do stuff for the sake of doing stuff, and it like they don't really write things properly anymore, and I don't know what's happened. Because even bad movies of the past were written like they were trying to be written properly, you know? But now we have like multi-billion-dollar franchise movies that are coming out with like the worst shit. Anyway. Oh no. Kiwi on pizza. Yes, we do. Pineapple, non-pineapple on pizza people. We do have a common enemy. You absolutely should make it. Make it now. Is it a force projection? He didn't show up. A force projection took his life. I hate Star Wars. I've said it, you know. If this is what Star Wars is now, I hate it. And I'm so dangerously close to saying the exact same thing about Halo. What's that one? Yes, please. I've seen this before, it's brilliant. What's that say? People are mostly pissed off he actually wasn't there, even though that wouldn't make sense. No, it didn't make sense, and that's why I couldn't understand why he was dead. It was so stupid. Anyway. The Crow.
Your audience that you shouldn't even know exists, Max, and you shouldn't even understand that that is an observational object. It's incredible. I find this so. I set out accidentally to sort of just walk with him and record him, and he just immediately started to engage with this phone. Now, some people have said, hang on, isn't he looking at the screen? And yes, right now he's looking at the screen, where he can see the screen. But interestingly, his behaviour changes if I show him a mirror compared to how he sees that screen. And the weird thing is that he doesn't actually talk to the screen; he talks to the camera.
Whoa. That's weird.
Now, this said to me something really, really interesting, which took me by surprise. It means that Ragnar interprets that camera at the top of my phone as an observational tool that is looking at him. So he's not necessarily imagining an audience, but he's realised that that is observing him, which is a really fascinating thing.
Yeah. That's really, really clever. Halo and Star Wars make me tired. That's just an amazing sentence. At least Halo was finished and we can just laugh at the new stuff. Yeah. Well, so was Star Wars, dude. Return of the Jedi. It was done. Stuff was fine. We could have left it and just done little outside of law stories and like stuff set in the same universe, but no, we had to go back to the original thing, didn't we? Just like Halo did. Yeah. It's only what Halo did. Like, they had free reign at that point, 343. They could have started doing, like, outside of the Master Chief stories, like, more about the Marines or ODSTs. You know, if they wanted to make Call of Duty, they could have made a Call of Duty style game with Marines from Halo fighting Covenant stuff. And it could have been set during the actual, like, Earth invasion in Halo 3. 2 and 3. You know? Missed opportunity. I think they would have had a hell of a lot more respect from fans, and they would have retained more of an audience and probably made more money, and they wouldn't have garnered the reputation as the single worst game developer in all of gaming, AAA gaming. Because that is their reputation. That they are the single worst development studio and or publishing company in the AAA space. That's right, bitches. We lost. Just do prequels based off the books or something. Nah, sod that. Make their own prequels out of nowhere. You know, like there's so much history and lore and stuff that was going on with all the like Halo thing. Like people, they were fighting the Covenant for like 60 years. You know, like it. There was plenty they could have done. They wouldn't even have to borrow from the novels. The novels were supposed to borrow from the games, for Christ's sake. The games were supposed to be the main canon, and everything else revolved around it, not the other way around. And now it's like, ugh. Now you can't even understand what's happening in the games if you haven't read 2 novels, 3 comics, and watched 2 TV shows. Fuck that. Fuck that. I'm an old man shouting at clouds, complaining about Halo while I'm making Halo stuff. Halo Wars with some awesome lore. Work with that, yeah, exactly. And then they ruined it by bringing the Halo Wars story into the modern Halo story. Instead of just continuing it where it was, it could have stayed separate, but they had to try. They tried to force it into the current like timeline, and then they used they created the Banished. Why couldn't the Banished have been? Just shut up. Why am I complaining about something that I can't do anything about? Shut up. Shut up and make your course place, mate. Okay, sorry. Halo Wars 2 seems crappy to me. Haven't even touched it. I did. I did. And much like everything else that 343 has published or put out in general, it's all really melodramatic for no reason, you know? It was supposed to be like a space military shooter with dramatic things that happened and very human reactions to the dramatic things that happened. But the focus was the fight. The focus was what was going on and, you know, finishing the fight and all that stuff. And somewhere down the line, like, 343 decided it needed to be a real crappy Hallmark made for TV movie at the same time. And, like, you know, they really hated Cortana for some reason. That was some fucked up, misogynistic, weird, like veiled misogyny going on with the way that the Cortana character's been treated in the last 10 years, you know? Like, weird, dude, weird. It's weird shit. I hate that new AI that looks like some lesbian. Yeah, well, I don't care what they look like so much as she's needlessly melodramatic again because the writing's bad. You know, and like for some reason just 343 can't write for the AIs. They couldn't even when the story fully focused on it on Halo Infinite, they couldn't really even get that character right, you know, the weapon that essentially became Cortana 2, Electric Boogaloo. You know. What do I know? I'm just a doctor. The AI from Halo Wars 1 was just as good as Cortana. I loved her sassiness. Yeah. They got... That's because Assembly, or whatever they were called at the time, were extremely dedicated to like the Halo lore and went behind Microsoft's back to talk to devs at Bungie directly about where they were coming from on the whole thing. And they basically just took shitloads of notes and made an amazing game that you would be forgiven for thinking that like people from Bungie worked on. You can tell it's a different studio, but you'd be forgiven for thinking that like a load of people split off and worked on it, but they didn't. Like literally no one from Bungie worked on Halo Wars #1. But they were happy to, like, once they came, you know, to terms with the idea that they wouldn't be making a Halo title, which they weren't happy about. It was Microsoft that basically took it out of their, pardon me, hands. They were like, right, well, we'll work with them and make sure that it, you know, that they get it right. And then to Bungie's delight, Assembly were like, yes, please tell us everything. We want to know everything. You know, like if we're setting it in this time period, how many of these can we have? Like, they were asking things like, we'd love it if we could get more than one Spartan. So in the law, what timeline would you say that it would have to be that we could have like limitless amounts of Spartans turn up and it be logical, you know? And they were like, oh, about this far back in time. And they're like, brilliant, thank you. We'll set it then. It was silly little things like that that just made it. God, I'm such a nerd. Anyway. Right, I'm going to go... No, I'm not. I'm going to chuck that brush. It has binned. Yay! Right. Round 2, baby. Let's see what we can do. Still a little bit wet in places on the top, but I think we're okay. Microsoft didn't want them to. I think the exact circumstances were that Microsoft wanted another Halo game. Bungie didn't have time to do it because they were elbow deep in getting to grips with the 360 and making Halo 3, as far as I'm aware. And then, what was it? So they said, right, well, we'll get someone else to do it. And Bungie were like, whoa, hang on a minute. No. And they were like, well, it's not your decision, is it? We own you. And they were like, cunts. So, so yeah, they pulled in. Thankfully, Microsoft made a good decision and they pulled in Assembly Studio. And it just so happened that Assembly were like big Halo fans anyway. But they had RTS experience, as you can tell from that thing. So they were like, you know, can we have someone from Bungie consult on it? And Microsoft apparently were a bit like, well, no, you can just talk to us, you know. And Assembly were like, okay, we will. And they cut the middleman out, went straight to Bungie, and just spoke to them directly, as far as I'm aware. The Mark IV armor is one of my favourites. It's wonderful design. Yeah, it is cool. It is really cool. What am I doing? Ah, yes, nicotine. Nicotine lozenges. Nicotine lozenges. Oh, yeah. How did I open this again? Oh, yeah. With these babies. With these bad boy puppies. My word. Okay. All on your butts. That's that. Looking up cosplay from the 80s and 90s, it's funny to me how limited people's supplies were. Do you know what? I think, like, yeah, it was a little harder to get hold of things, but I think it was just that, like, the scope was limited. People didn't, like, no one had access to information, dude. So, like, oh, there it is. Look at that. So, like, if you wanted to make something, you just had to sort of imagine how to do it. We thankfully have a wealth of knowledge because of the internet now. And for me, behind the scenes DVDs and watching people like Stan Winston work on Terminator and Aliens and Predator, So you get a sense of how they do these things, you know? And I was all about that. I was all about the documentaries and shit, the making ofs and everything. Fucking love that stuff. It's why I have all this useless information, because I seek out that information. It's going much better than I was expecting. Okay. Getting there. See, that's, I've got up to the side plate there, and it's just looking a lot smoother. I was worried it was going to be covered in like brush marks and lines and stuff. What are we looking at? Oh no, I've got paint on the violet. Oh shit. The Being Elmo one is actually quite interesting too, because it goes into production of how the kids shows like Sesame Street made in the 60s. Yeah, I saw that. I have a sort of an affinity for that guy because he was also Splinter in the original Ninja Turtles movie. Kevin Clash. Interesting how I use an entire bucket. I have nowhere to put it. I don't have like a paint tray or anything I can put it in. So I'm just having to go straight out the can. I've got some in the grill. Got it in that grill by accident. Gosh darn it all to heck. Right, we are getting there. We just need to let that dry one more time and I can get another coat on it. And then that should do, I think. I have to do my best to get that. I'm going to try and scoop out as much as I can from this, so it doesn't solidify at least. And then I'll be able to go back over it with black paint. There we go. Okay. Right. I'm going to try and leave it at that for that one. Let it dry again. It's going well, I would say. It's just a little bit more like it's a little bit less streaky now. And then I can get like a last layer on it. Have it fully. Another stream boo. That's 2 in a night. I must be getting popular. Once again, goes without saying, don't go to stream boo. Anyone that's watching, that's really like no thank you. And what the hell? Oh, literally born yesterday, everyone. Yeah. They're now banned. So see you later, stream boo dick. But can't. Whoa. Oh no. Skeptic, I have just banned you out of my restream chat. I'm so sorry. 2 seconds, I'm going to get you back. I hope. How do I do that? Fuck. I was trying to ban this dick. Yes, ban that guy. Like, oh no. How do I get it back? Settings. Filtering. There we go. Yes, there you go, you're back. Oh my god. What is happening? What's happening? Right, I'm going to quickly just go, like, rinse this blah. Blah. Blah, 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 blah. Blah, blah, blah. 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 Blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah. Oh, Bob. Oh. I forgot something. I might as well do these thighs. Put it over there. Right. Here we go. So we use this. Maybe. It's a bit stiff and shit. I fucked it out. Get one of my nice brushes. That'll do. Won't it? So, lovely weather. Get off. There's a really fine hair there that's just stuck to it. Right, got it. Good. Okay. Goodbye. Goodbye, hair. Goodbye. Where's my secret panda gone? Who's the worst customer I've ever had? I called him Dude Bro. It was this American guy that wanted a Mark 7, like the Halo Infinite multiplayer core armor, you know, the like first one that was sort of the main one for a while. And he wanted it white and blue with bits of black. I'm like, fine. It's going to be this much. All I need is a deposit up front, and then that's the way I used to do it, and I still do it this way, but I'm a little bit more flexible with it. But at the time, I couldn't have been. I was living on my own in a place similar to this, but worse, and I was really scraping for money at the time because I'd just left my full-time job. And this dude goes, right, can I pay you in installments? And I'm like, it would be better if you just put your money away, and then at the end of the process, I'll give you a heads up. You deposit the money, then I ship it. That's how I would normally do it. He was like, come on, bro. I can't hang on to my money like that. He like, you know, or whatever. And I was like, right, fine. And I was like, have you got a specific amount that you're able to pay, like, and how often? He was like, I'm going to pay $100 every 2 weeks. And I was like, right. Okay, I can live with that. And I thought, like, by the end of the process, I worked out that I would probably get, like, a benefits check or something, and I'd be able to just, like, keep that last bit of money, not have to live on it, and ship it. It would be no problem, you know? Well, what did he do? He was like, it was not every 2 weeks. It was every week. Then it was every 3 weeks. Then it was every 2 weeks. Then it was 4 weeks. Then it was 2 weeks. It was like, it was all over the place, you know? At one point, he paid, and he never paid a single amount the same either. It was like $20 here, $50 there. Like, you know what I mean? It was just all over the place, man. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? I looked on this guy's profile. He was a medical nurse. He was in scrubs and shit, you know? He was like a professional person. And I'm like, this dude looks after people. And I was like, oh my God. And by the end of the process, he'd effectively bankrupted me. Because, like, it got so fucking strained that I was like, I couldn't keep up with it. And I started getting really confused, and I ended up spending money that I was like, oh, I've got extra money. Oh, that's good. But it wasn't extra money. It was money from him. And because he was so sporadic with his payments, I was getting confused and ended up spending money I shouldn't have. So it is partly my fault. And then by the end of the process, he was like, brilliant. So when's it getting sent? And I'm like, have you paid the last amount of money? And he was like, What do you mean? I was like, yeah, I told you to wait and pay the last amount when it was done. And he was like, I got you, bro. Sent $100. I'm like, right. Okay, you've got another 130 to go. And he like, yeah, I'll get you next week, bro. So when are you sending it? Like, when you've paid for it, you know? And he was like, oh yeah, got you, bro. I'm not your fucking bro, dude. I'm not your fucking bro. But yeah, it was like constantly like that. And by the time he paid the last payment, I didn't have enough money to send it. And he was like, what do you mean you don't have enough money? I've just spent all that money. And I was like, yeah. In tiny bits, dude, over a period of months. I'm not a conglomerate. The money doesn't just go away. I have to live, you know? And like, because I'm working on your thing, I couldn't take on any other work. So I have no other money coming in. And I need to eat. And he was like, just send it, bro. Like, with what? Like, what happened to all the money I gave you? I just told you. Like, and so I had to wait until I got another commission in, and I had to use the deposit from the commission to work as shipping money for him, and then I had to wait until my like benefit money came in so I could buy materials for the new commission. And because of that, until I stopped doing this, which was not too long after that, every time I took a commission on, I was in minus money because he pulled me so far into the red that every time a new one came in, it was paying for the last one. So I was like, you know, and like from his perspective, he paid everything he should have done. But because he was so fucking sporadic and all over the place, it confused the shit out of me, and I ended up fucking up my finances as a result. So, and then he was such a bitch about it when I couldn't send it immediately that I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not letting anybody pay in installments ever again. I've since mellowed on that stance, and I don't mind it now. I don't like it because I've still got like fucking trauma from that time. But yeah, that was the worst guy. The dude bro guy. I got you, bro. No, you don't got me, bro. What you got is my, like, you know, financial ruin. But yeah, just like, it was so bad. And he's largely the reason why I had a customer called Kat, who I've only just been able to send the suit to. It took 2 years for me to be able to afford to send her the suit. That's I think I mentioned before, the girl in New York. And I finally got to send, and I've got a dude, another one in my cupboard back there that's from that time because of the same guy. And thankfully, these two people happen to be the nicest people on the planet. And like, they were so patient with me. And Kat even went halves with me on the shipping. When the money, like when it finally came down in price to be able to ship to the US again. FYI, it shot straight back up again, thanks Trump. But yeah, that was a bad time. Like, what that dude did impacted every job I took on after that, which arguably was only 2, but it was 2 full cosplay commissions, like 2 full reach suits for 2 different people. And because of that, dude, I couldn't afford to ship things to people because I was relying on new stuff coming in to ship the old stuff. It was so horrible, man. Stressful. I get wound up thinking about it. So yeah, that's the worst customer I ever had. The guy that nearly ruined my entire business. Well, no, he did, because I shut my doors for years because of it. And I've only just started doing this again in the last year or so. Because I'm finally in a position where I can again. Yeah. Yeah, I've taken longer than hoped on commissions, and the guy that keeps flipping out saying he'll call the cops, even though I'm showing him progress, but I don't have enough money to work on it all the time. I've said a guy say he'll kill me. I've had a guy say he'll kill me if I don't get him his commission, even though he didn't finish paying. Okie dokie. Just say back like I'll literally kill you if you don't give me my money. Bitch better have my money, you know? I'm avoiding Facebook Marketplace for commissions from now on with the horrible people I've dealt with. Yeah, I stopped doing that a long time ago, before I started doing this properly. I got a couple of nice people. It's probably different over here than it is there. People are largely polite about stuff, and they, like, you know, kept in communication, and I got like loads of photos for them, and then they came and collected it. But I just didn't do much else on there after that, and I just made my page Harley Halo Cosplay on Facebook and Instagram. The gram of Insta. So you can see my work. That guy the other day, in the span of 3 minutes, sent me 3 messages, with the third being a hello. So I don't know if I want to deal with him. I have a bad feeling about that person harassing me. The first time he texts me to. Don't know, they just might not understand that, like, people aren't glued to their phones, you know? I don't know. Trust your gut. If your gut's telling you, like, this person is going to be a nightmare, then stay well away. had people flip out at me for not responding for a day or so because I've had notifications off on Marketplace because honestly the past people have given me anxiety and I stress out over people being like the people I mentioned. I try to be transparent with my clients as much as I can, but I just need breathing room. Well, yeah, I get that, man. You need to work. I found doing everything through just a page on Facebook has helped. And I share all my shit to like the Halo groups and stuff all over the place. And I get a lot of views and what have you on my posts, but I'm not getting much in the way of business because people don't want to pay for it. Even though my prices haven't really changed since like 2021 or something, and they really should have done, but they haven't. So, you know, there's only been a few people that have really engaged and took full advantage of the way that I do things with like the payments and stuff. Like Lupinta, who is the person that's commissioned this. Who sadly I'm running sort of behind schedule on it because it took me ages to source the paint, the Miami Mint paint, and so I stopped priming it and everything because I knew I wasn't going to be able to fully paint it. And I really shouldn't have done, because by now I would be like actually painting it Miami Mint if I hadn't stopped. But I had like other jobs come in and I needed to crack on, otherwise I would not have been able to live. And now we're at war. Well, we're not. There's all those Yanks with their amazingly idiotic fellow commander-in-chief, as they call themselves in general, you know. Absolutely spiffing in that. There we go. Sorry. I went in my own little world for now. I told you about that one guy who showed up randomly in the middle of a dark street with no one around, asking me where his armor is. I was very close to my house, and I just really don't want people knowing where I live if they try anything. I don't know if that guy was following me or stalking me, but it freaked me out. Yep, that would do it. My God. Yeah, you don't want to be. If you want to get commissions in, dude, move to make like a business page on Facebook. That's assuming you still want to deal with Facebook in general. Because I wouldn't blame you if you didn't. But yeah, that is the best thing I did, was just make a page and run it all through that. And then it's professional seeming, you know, and you get chance to, like, people come to you and ask you about it, and you get chance to explain how the process works and all of that stuff without them just thinking it's a you know, exchange money for product situation like with Marketplace. So, you know, it's a different dynamic, which I think helps. He told me I remember when I met him, he told me he worked in a prison and had a guy put a hit on him. Okay, buddy. Yeah, that is weird. And, hang on. He told me about how all these people want to kill him. No shit. I'm one of them. Oh no. There we go. Oh, I might be able to get a third coat on that now. Why do I have this fucking look with people? Yes. That would be my reply. Yes, quite. Right. I am going to go rinse this brush now. And this brush. And then I'm going to return for a third go at the helmet. Let's see what happens. BRB MFs. touch it. Don't touch it. You numpty. What are you doing? What's happening? Hey? You wanting to be friends? Okay. We're going to be friends. Yeah? Mm-hmm. I didn't forget to mute, by the way. I just haven't been. I just put the be right back on and didn't bother to mute. Hey, baby. Wow. Can I say hello? Nope. Whoa. Please don't go bounding onto there, okay? Go this way. Go on then. Good girl. Good girl. Oh, yeah. What is that? What's that say?
That's good, Tutter.
But I just got a white beer, and I'll be right there. I feel much better now. Much better.
That's great, Tutter.
I just had to poop. I'm almost done.
That's good, Tutter.
Which frog am I? Hang on. Ugh. I think I'm Apple Peter. If I have to pick one, then probably Apple. That's what frog I am, just so you know. Any other shitty client stories? No. Honestly, no. That one dude nearly single-handedly brought all this down. And it's never been that bad before then, and it's not been that bad since. So you know. No, I'm gonna have to. No, it needs. I can't. I have to. It's gonna have to wait. I'll have to do it tomorrow. So I've run out of things to paint, and also my back hurts, so I want to lay out flat. Is what I can hear from outside. Touch. Okay. I am. No. There you go. Right. Wow. Yeah. So yeah. It's gone quite well. Quite happy with that. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know when I'll be on tomorrow. It'll probably be early because I've got shit to do. Stuff to see and people to do tomorrow. So that's what I'll be doing. And yeah, it's not turning out too bad so far. It's going to look a hell of a lot better when I pull the tape off. So I'm hoping I'll do that on stream tomorrow. Pull all the tape off and it'll look so cool with all the black parts still there, you know? Yes, exciting. Exciting. So yeah, tomorrow. For you, it might be later on tonight, because it might be early. So, yeah, thank you very much for watching. Thank you for chatting with me again, Skeptic. Always a pleasure. Thank you, Secret Pandas, for all the memes, as usual. And thank you to the other YouTube viewer. What was their name? All the way back in the chat. They were called The Crazy Man 94. Thank you for watching, questions and all that stuff. It was nice to have you. And I appreciate everybody that watches these back later on. And so, yeah, there you go. Yeah. Bye-bye. Love you.